The city was alive with the sound of cars honking and people rushing from one meeting to another, and yet inside the tall glass tower that bore the name of a global empire sat a man who was surrounded by silence. He was the CEO, the man who had everything, or so the world believed, but on this particular day he sat alone at the head of a long polished table, staring at the small calendar reminder on his phone. It read, "Happy Birthday, Richard," and beneath it, there were no messages, no calls, no notifications. His phone had been silent all morning. He leaned back in his chair trying to focus on the stack of reports in front of him, but the words blurred together. He rubbed his temples thinking about the years that had passed in a blur, of board meetings, contracts, flights, and endless responsibilities. His success had cost him more than he cared to admit. His friends had drifted away. His family lived far apart, and his personal life was nothing but an empty shadow. The irony of being one of the most powerful men in the city and still being utterly alone gnawed at him. Hours slipped by and the sun began to set. He ordered no cake, no dinner, no celebration. He simply planned to sign the last document and head home to his apartment, which felt more like a hotel room than a home. His secretary had left earlier and the office floor was quiet except for the faint hum of the air conditioning. He thought he might make coffee in the small lounge to keep himself awake. When he walked into the lounge, he froze. There at the corner of the room sat a little girl no older than 7, perched on one of the chairs with a paper plate in her hand. She had short hair tied into uneven ponytails and wore a dress with tiny flowers printed on it. Her shoes dangled above the floor as her feet swung back and forth. She looked up at him with the innocence only children could carry and smiled. "I saved you some cake, mister," she said softly, pushing the paper plate toward the edge of the table. The plate had a small slice of chocolate cake with uneven frosting as though it had been cut by unsteady little hands. Richard blinked, unsure if exhaustion was making him imagine things. He stepped closer and asked, "Where did you come from, little one?" "The building is closed. My mom works here sometimes. She cleans the offices when everyone leaves," she said cheerfully. She had chocolate smudged on her cheek and a sparkle in her eyes. "Today was my friend's birthday at school, and I brought some cake back home. I thought you might like some too because you look lonely." The word struck him deeper than any financial report or harsh negotiation ever had. Lonely. He had never allowed anyone to say it out loud, but this child had simply noticed and said it without hesitation. He sat across from her and looked at the cake. He had not tasted birthday cake in years. Every year it had been meetings and late dinners with clients with no candles, no laughter, no warmth. "Thank you," he said, in a voice that cracked more than he intended. "What is your name?" "Anna," she replied proudly before nudging the plate closer. "You should eat it. It is good. I picked the biggest slice for you." He stared at the cake for a long moment, and then carefully lifted the fork that she had brought with it. The sweetness hit him instantly, soft, moist chocolate and sugar melting on his tongue. He closed his eyes for a moment, savoring something that felt far more precious than the richest gourmet dish he had ever tasted. He looked at Anna and smiled for the first time that day. "Do you know it is my birthday today?" he whispered. Her eyes widened. "Really? Then it is perfect," she exclaimed, hopping off the chair. She dug into her small school bag and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper with crayons. She spread it on the table. It was a drawing of balloons, a cake, and a stick figure with a crown. She added quickly, "This is for you. Happy birthday, Mr." He felt his chest tighten. His hands shook slightly. As he took the drawing, nobody had given him a birthday gift in so many years. He swallowed hard, his throat burning with unspoken emotion. He asked, "Where is your mom now?" "Cleaning upstairs. She will come soon," Anna said. She climbed back onto the chair and looked at him curiously. "Do you not have anyone to eat cake with you?" He looked down at the slice and then back at her. "Not today," he admitted softly. "But you are here, and that makes it better." For the next few minutes, she told him about her school. Her friends, her favorite cartoons, and how she wanted to be an artist one day. Her laughter filled the empty lounge, and for the first time in years, he felt the walls of his heart soften. The silence that had once weighed him down was replaced by the simple joy of a child who asked for nothing but gave so much. When her mother arrived, she froze seeing her daughter with the CEO. She apologized hurriedly, but he raised his hand gently and said, "She has done nothing wrong. In fact, she has given me the best birthday I have had in years." The mother looked surprised and whispered an apology again before guiding Anna toward the door. But before leaving, Anna turned back and waved goodbye, "Mr. Happy Birthday." He sat there long after they left, staring at the crayon drawing and the empty plate. He realized that no amount of wealth could ever replace the warmth of human connection. That night, he took the drawing home and pinned it on his refrigerator. It was the first thing that made his apartment feel alive. The next morning, he walked into the office with a different energy. He carried the memory of a small girl who reminded him of what truly mattered. He promised himself he would not let another birthday pass in loneliness. He would open his heart more often. He would make room for people, not just profits. And deep inside, he knew that a little girl with chocolate on her cheek and a big heart had given him more than cake. She had given him back a piece of his humanity that he thought was lost forever.